Welcome to today's history lesson. We are going to look at KCSE History and Government Paper 1 1996. Section A, 25 marks. Answer all the questions in this section in the spaces provided. Give 2 functions of the Council of Elders among the Akamba during the pre-colonial period. 2 marks. State 2 factors which made it possible for the Arab traders to come to the Kenya coast before 1500. 2 marks. Identify 1 contribution of John Kraft to the spread of Christianity in Kenya during the 19th century. 2 marks. Name the company which administered Kenya on behalf of the British government up to 1895. 1 mark. Identify 2 factors which enabled the white settlers to establish farms in the Kenya highlands during the colonial period. 2 marks. Give 2 factors which led to the establishment of urban centers in Kenya during the colonial period. 2 marks. State 2 objectives of the Kikuyu Central Association (kcse). 2 marks. Identify 2 ways in which the trade union movement contributed to the struggle for independence in Kenya. 2 marks. State 2 results of the development of railway transport in Kenya during the colonial period. 2 marks. Name 2 African nationalist parties whose leaders attended the Lancaster House Conference. 2 marks. Give 2 reasons why the district focus for rural development was established in Kenya. 2 marks. Name 2 parastatal organizations in Kenya that fall under the Ministry of Transport and Communication. 2 marks. What is the main function of opposition parties in Kenya? 1 mark. Identify 1 type of direct tax through which the Kenya government raises its revenue. 1 mark. Which provision in the Kenya Constitution protects the wealth of individuals in the country? 1 mark. Section B, 45 marks. Answer any 3 questions from this section in the answer booklet provided. 1. A. What factors made the Kushites migrate into Kenya during the pre-colonial period? 10 marks. B. Explain 5 results of the migration of the Kushites into Kenya during the pre-colonial period. 10 marks. 2. A. Why were the Portuguese able to conquer the Kenyan coast during the 16th century? 5 marks. B. Explain 6 factors which led to the collapse of the Portuguese rule on the Kenyan coast by the end of the 17th century. 10 marks. 3. A. Outline 5 reasons why the Nandi resisted the imposition of British colonial rule over their territory. 5 marks. B. Discuss the factors which led to the defeat on the Nandi resistance by the British colonial rule over their territory. 10 marks. 4. A. What 3 factors have facilitated the formation of many political parties in Kenya since 1991? 3 marks. Explain 6 changes which have taken place in Kenya as a result of the introduction of multi-party democracy since 1991. 12 marks. Section C, 30 marks. Answer any 2 questions from this section in the answer booklet provided. 5. A. What are the constitutional duties of the President of Kenya? 3 marks. B. Explain 6 factors which have promoted national unity in Kenya since 1963. 12 marks. 6. A. State 3 functions of the police force in Kenya. 3 marks. B. Describe 6 duties performed by provincial commissioners in Kenya. 12 marks. 7. A. Identify 3 functions of the Attorney General of Kenya. 3 marks. B. Describe the structure of the court system in Kenya. 12 marks. Marking scheme. Paper 1, 1996. 1. Give 2 functions of the Council of Elders among the Akamba during the pre-colonial period. They had powers to declare war and make peace, prepared youth for war. They presided over religious and other ritual functions. They offered advice to the community when need arose. They ruled the community, settled disputes. 2. State two factors which made it possible for the Arab traders to come to Kenyan coast before 1500. Accessibility of the Kenyan coast via the sea. Availability of funds to finance their journey. Availability of dhows. The monsoon winds which powered their dhows to the coast. 3. Give one contribution of John Craft to the spread of Christianity in Kenya during the 19th century. John Craft built a church in Rabbi. Converted people to Christianity. Translated the Bible into Kiswahili. Trained the first catechist who later spread the gospel. Encouraged other European missionaries to come to Kenya. This exploitation of Kenya led to the opening up of the interior for more missionary activities. 4. Name the company which administered Kenya on behalf of the British government up to 1895. The Imperial British East Africa Company, EBA Company. 5. Identify two factors which enabled the white settlers to establish farms in the Kenya highlands during the colonial periods. Government policy and support, i.e., providing loans, land and laborers. Favorable climate, adequate rainfall and temperature. Availability of transport, especially the railway and the feeder roads. Fertility of the soil. 6. Give two factors which led to the establishment of urban centers in Kenya during the colonial period. Development of transport network, the construction of the Uganda Railway. Development of mining activities, development of industries. Development of trade. Development of agriculture. Establishment of administrative center. 7. State two objectives of the Kikuyu Central Association KCA. To advocate for the growing of coffee Africans. To work towards the restoration of alienated Africans. To have laws written in Kikuyu. To pressurize the colonial government to abolish the racial segregation. To pressurize the colonial government to abolish racial segregation. Respect of African culture and customs, e.g., circumcision, polygamy. Agitating release of political prisoners, e.g., Harry Thuku. 8. Identify two ways in which the trade union movement contributed to the struggle for independence in Kenya. Trade unions sensitized workers about the importance of joining political parties that struggled for independence. Trade unions contributed money to political parties to enable them sustain the struggle for independence. Trade unions organized strikes and boycotts to oppose some policies of the colonial government. Trade unions provided relevant training ground for potential nationalist leaders. 9. State two results of the development of railway transport in the Kenya during the colonial period. It led to the loss of land among some African communities. Facilitated the movement of goods and people. Led to development of trade between Kenya and the outside world. Promoted the development of trade between Kenya and the outside world. Led to the development of trade between Kenya and the outside world. Encouraged the coming settlers to Kenya. Promoted interaction between different African communities. X provided a source of revenue. X open up the interior. Shipbuilding of industries. 10. Name two African nationalist parties whose leaders attended the Lancaster House Conference in London. Kenya African National Union KANU. Kenya African Democratic Union KADU. 11. Give two reasons why the district focus for rural development was established in Kenya. I. To plan and initiate development projects programs at district levels. E. Liaise with the government in prioritizing development projects at the district level. E. Initiate income generating activation for the development projects in the district. 12. Name 2 parastatals organizations in Kenya that fall under the Ministry of Transport and Communication. I. Kenya Ports Authority KPA. E. Kenya Railways. E. Kenya Posts and Telecommunications. IV. Kenya Airways. 13. What is the main function of opposition parties in Kenya? I. To provide a system of checks and balances to the government of the day in order to guard against excess, to act a check on the actions of the government. 14. Identify 2 types of direct taxes through which the Kenya government raises this revenue. I. Export tax. E. Import tax, custom duty. E. Excise duty. IV. Sales tax. V. Income tax. V. Value added tax VAT. Pay as you earn. 15. Which provision in Kenya Constitution protects the wealth of individuals in the country? I. The right to own property. E. The Bill of Right. Section B. 1. Of what factors which made the Kushites to migrate into Kenya during the pre-colonial period? I. Hostile neighbors in their homeland. E. Succession disputes, feuds, family conflicts. E. Search for pastured for their livestock. IV. Natural calamities such as drought, disease. V. Search for land for settlement. V. Population pressure. V. Spirit of adventure. B. Explain 5 results of the settlement of the Kushites in Kenya during the pre-colonial period. I. The Kushites came with their own livestock and so encouraged livestock farming in areas where they settled. E. Their settlement led to increased rivalry and conflicts for ownership of land. E. Some Kushites who had been converted to Islam spread the religion in the areas where they settled. IV. The Kushites attacked the eastern Bantu communities who had settled at Shungwaya, and forced them to move to their present homeland in Kenya. V. The Kushites intermarried with the communities they found in the areas where they settled. IV. The Kushites attacked the eastern Bantu communities who had settled at Shungwaya, and forced them to move to their present homeland in Kenya. V. The Kushites intermarried with the communities they found in the areas where they settled in Kenya. There was increase in population. V. Trade developed between the Kushites and the example they exchanged livestock products such as milk and butter with the Bantu, and in return they obtained grains from the Bantu. V. The Bantu borrowed some to the cultural practices of the Kushites, e.g., circumcision. V. Kushites learned mixed farming. 2. A. Why were the Portuguese able to conquer the Kenyan coast during the 16th century? I. The Portuguese used superior weapons. E. Lack of unity among the coastal communities, rivalry between Malindi and Mombasa. E. The Portuguese fought as one united found of people. V. The Portuguese knew the geography of the East African coast very well after obtaining information from Vasco da Gama visit of 1498. V. They had well-trained soldier. B. Explain 5 factors which led to the collapse of the Portuguese rule on the Kenyan coast by the end of 17th century. I. The harsh Portuguese rule provoked resentment from the coastal communities. E. Coastal communities. Some coastal communities organized a series of revolts against the Portuguese colonial administrators' embezzled revenue, and so they made it difficult for Portugal to run their possessions on the Kenya coast. Inefficient, non-committed administration. IV. Trade along the Kenyan coast declined, therefore the Portuguese found retaining their control over the East African coast a liability. V. The Portuguese settlements were attacked by the Zimba terrorists from the lower Zambezi Valley who looted property and killed people. This made life difficult for Portuguese, many of them, and so those who survived were unwilling to continue to stay at the East African coast. The coastal Arabs and the Swahili obtained support from the Turks and Omani Arabs, their fellow Muslims, who helped them to drive away the Christian Portuguese colonists. Delay in reinforcement due to distance. Composition of other European powers. 3a. Outline the 5 reasons which made the Nandi resist the imposition of British colonial rule over their territory. They wanted to maintain their independence. They wanted to protect their land. They wanted to reserve their culture. They did not want the Uganda Railway to be constructed through their territory. They want white people because, according to their methodology, the people were assigned to bad omen. They wanted to protect their livestock. Discuss the factors which led to the defeat of the Nandi. The British were supported by some of the local communities, e.g., Somali and Maasai soldiers, so the Nandi warriors were outnumbered. The British used superior weapons such repeater rifles while Nandi used spears and arrows. The British tricked the Nandi and used treacherous method, for example in October 1905. The commander of the British troops in Nandi territory, Captain Macinernts Hagab, arranged to have a meeting with the Nandi Orkoiyat, Koitalel Arap Samoy, when he had already arranged to have him killed. The Orkoiyat was killed in cold blood by the British, and this demoralized and weakened the Nandi. The British used scorched earth policy, they burned, confiscated their livestock. The Nandi was deprived of the sources of their livelihood, and this forced them into submission. Natural calamities. The smallpox epidemic, which broke out in the 1890s, killed many of the Nandi and weakened their survivors. Lack of support from the neighboring Kenyan communities such as the Abaluya and Luo. 4a. What 3 factors have facilitated the formation of many political parties in Kenya since 1991? Amendment of Section 2 in the Kenyan Constitution to allow the formation of other parties in Kenya. External pressure from the international community. Internal agitation for multipart. End of the Cold War. The collapse of the USSR made it possible for the USA to exert pressure on Kenya and other African countries. Economic hardships within the country. Explain the changes which have taken place in Kenya as a result for the introduction of multi-party democracy. The introduction of multi-party democracy has led to the introduction of multi-party democracy. Kenyans have been provided with the opportunity to join parties of their own choice. It has promoted accountability and transparency on the part of the government. It has enhanced the implementation of economic reforms in the country, SAP. It has given the mass media people greater freedom to comment on what is happening in the country. It has created more political awareness and patriotism among the people. It has enhanced interaction among Kenyans of different ethnic backgrounds as various political parties compete for support. Has enhanced the application of rule of law in the country. Section C. 5a. What are the constitutional duties of the President of Kenya? The President is the head of government, chairs cabinet meetings. Opens Parliament at the start of every session. Prorogues Parliament. Commander in charge of the armed forces. Received credentials form foreign envoys accredited to Kenya. Appoints senior civil servants and dismisses cabinet ministers, nominated MPs. Represents the country in international fora. Confers in honors for distinguished services. Consents bills before they become law. Explain 6 factors which have promoted national unity in Kenya since 1963. I. The use of common languages English and Kiswahili which enable people of different ethnic groups to communicate. E. The establishment of national schools which enable pupils from different parts of the country to meet and interact. Education integration of. E. Intermarriage enables people of different ethnic backgrounds. IB. Expansion of university education which enables students from different ethnic groups to interact. V. Expansion of job opportunities which enables people of different ethnic groups to meet and interact at their places of work. V. Development of urban centers has encouraged people from different ethnic background to meet and interact. V. Development of transport network has facilitated free movement of people in the country. V. Promotion of sporting and other cultural activities through which people of different ethnic groups interact. Debudding of tribal associations. Ix. The Harambee spirit NYAO philosophy which has made it possible for people of different ethnic group, religious background to work together on various projects. X. The establishment of settlement schemes which has made it possible for people from different parts of the country to meet and interact. She. Existence of the institution of presidency is one unifying factor. She. The use of the national flag which is recognized by all Kenyans. She. The use of the national anthem which invokes the spirit of unity among Kenyans. Exiv. The coat of arms which is recognized by all Kenyans. XV. 1 Constitution. A. State 3 functions of the police force in Kenya. I. To maintain law and order. E. To investigate internal security. E. To provide internal security. IB. To control and direct traffic in the country. V. To arrest and prosecute suspected criminals. V. To mount a guard of honors for domestic and international dignitaries. B. Explain 6 duties performed by provincial commissioners in Kenya. I. The PCs act as representatives of the president in their areas of jurisdiction. E. The PCs interpret government policies in their areas or jurisdiction. E. The PCs oversee the implementation of the government policies and programs in their provinces. IB. The PCs ensure that law and order is maintained in the provinces. V. They issue permits for the holding of public meetings in their respective provinces. V. The provincial commissioners serve as chairpersons in the provincial security and intelligence committees. V. They are charged with responsibility of maintaining security to the area. V. They coordinate development programs and services chairperson of the provincial development committees. X. They are in overall control of all government departments in their respective provinces. 7a. Identify 3 functions of the Attorney General of Kenya. I. The Attorney General is the chief legal advisor to the government. E. Chief state prosecution. E. Interprets the laws of Kenya. IB. Drafts government bills. V. Services as ex officio member of parliament. B. Describe the structure of the court system of Kenya. I. The judicial structure in Kenya consists of a system of courts which are arranged hierarchically from the lowest to the highest level. E. The District Magistrates Court. This is the lowest court in Kenya which is charged with the responsibility of trying civil and criminal cases within the district. E. The Kadi Court. This is parallel to the District Magistrates Court in hierarchy. It arbitrates civil cases in which all parties involved are Muslims. IB. The Resident Magistrates Court which has jurisdiction in both civil and criminal cases which originate from within the province where the court is situated. It also has jurisdiction in respect to magistrates in respect to decisions made at District Magistrates Court level. V. The Chief Magistrates Court, which has powers over all the resident magistrates and district magistrates' courts. It supervises and oversees the work of the other courts in the country. V. The High Court of Kenya. This has unlimited jurisdiction over civil and criminal cases stemming from any party of Kenya. B. The Court of Appeal is the highest court in the country. It listens to appeals from any court in Kenya. Other courts. Industrial courts. Rent tribunal. Kindly let me know what video I can look at tomorrow. Thanks a lot for listening to me. God bless you.